Ralph Waldo Emerson once said, "Every great man is willing to be little." Now, I don't have any special qualifications to stand up here today and talk to you about humility. In fact, maybe it's that I have so much work to do in the area that gives me a temporary license, if you will. I assure you, I'm a work in progress like many of you. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to share with you 5 words and phrases, you don't need to write them down, that I believe, if used and applied, can help us in our communications and interactions with others. Those 5 words and phrases are, please, thank you, I'm sorry, I don't know, and I was wrong. Now, the first 2 are easy. Most of us learn the first 2 before we even learn our own name. I recall when my children were small, them pulling up on the coffee table, learning to walk, staggering around like Frankenstein. Typically, they would grab something from the table, and we would hold our hands out and say, "Honey, can I please have that?" And sometimes they would give it to you, sometimes not. But if they did, we would say thank you. And then we would pass the object back and forth a couple times, exchanging please and thank yous. I also remember taking cookies from my Aunt Virginia's cookie jar. And if I forgot to say thank you, what happened? You got smacked upside the head and said, "Say thank you, what do you say?" So early on, we lay this foundation for humility that we build upon for the rest of our lives, or so it seems. But if the first 2 are easy, that implies that the other 3 are more difficult. Please, thank you, I'm sorry, I don't know, I was wrong. Let me ask you a question, and maybe you'll get a raised eyebrow or an elbow. Do you owe someone an apology? Or maybe the question is better asked, who do you owe an apology that hasn't received it yet? You may have found yourself in a situation like I found myself in some time ago. I was in a meeting, and I was very excited about a new project that the boss had told us about, so I got to share it with the team. I already had some ideas about how we would execute the project, and as I shared it with the team, they gave me some of their ideas that were a little different than mine. And as we went around the room, they got more excited about the ways that they wanted the project to go that was different than what I had thought. And at one point, I got upset, and I snapped at one of my teammates. I knew I was wrong when it happened, but it happened. Now, 2 things happen in a meeting, and you've seen this before when something like that occurs. Number 1, the meeting doesn't go much longer. And number 2, we don't get anything done. Both of those things happen in that case. So I let the rest of the day go. Yes, I should apologize immediately, but I didn't. I let the rest of the day go, and I went home and reflected on it that evening. I came back to work the next morning, and I'm usually the first in the office, and when my colleague came in, I greeted them immediately, and I said, "I'm so sorry for the way I acted yesterday. It was childish, immature, and unprofessional. I value you as a human being and as a team member, as a person. I am sorry for the way I acted." Not only that, as the rest of the team gathered, we had a huddle, a small, short meeting, where I apologized to the rest of the team. I said, "Guys, I'm really sorry. I acted like an ass yesterday, and I apologize for that. I value you all, and that's not the environment that we're trying to build here." Now, that's not a story to tell you that I can say I'm sorry. The larger point is much, much bigger, and it's this. As human beings, we have this tremendous capacity for forgiveness, and all you have to do to unlock it is to say, "I'm sorry." We've seen, in fact, instances where a family can forgive the murderer that took a loved one from them just by simply asking for forgiveness. That's powerful. Please, thank you, I'm sorry, I don't know, I was wrong. Now, you may think that you know everything, but we all know that we don't. And so we have to leave some room for those other ideas that can come in and help us shape what we are and how we believe. But many times it seems we come to conversations with a preconceived notion that we already know the answer. And when we do that, we don't give ourselves an opportunity to be exposed to the ideas of others. Now, we just came through a tumultuous election, and it seems that in the past we were able to do 2 things that we haven't been able to do the last 10, 20 years. Number 1 is we haven't been able to, or it seems we haven't been able to rally behind our leaders. I don't know if you've ever run anything like a bake sale or or a homeowners association or been involved with anything where you need the support of other people, those things are difficult if you don't have the support of your constituency. So I would encourage you, as much as you can, get behind your leaders. The second one, though, I think is more important. I want us to get back to a point where we can have meaningful dialogue with one another. Not debate, not dueling monologues, but a dialogue, a conversation where there is genuine interest on the part of everyone involved to understand the position of the other. That's how we come to compromise. I think Stephen Covey said it best when he said, "Seek first to understand." And it's funny as we think about the season we've just come through. What do we call someone who changes their mind, maybe when confronted with better information and more facts? You know what we call them? A flip-flopper. Really? Please, thank you, I'm sorry, I don't know, I was wrong. Now, I thought I was wrong once, but I was mistaken. I think you've heard that before. And as silly as it seems, I think some of us believe that. You know, as I was standing in the mirror this morning, combing my hair, brushing my teeth, I realized that our eras give us some of the greatest opportunities for learning. But we need to acknowledge them, not hide behind them, and certainly not scapegoat others. It's funny that it seems we're the last one to know that we're wrong. You go in and you tell your team or your family, "I was wrong," and they go, yeah, we knew that. Please, thank you, I'm sorry, I don't know, I was wrong. Now, it's really not about trying to be more humble. It's just about trying to be a better father, mother, brother, sister, spouse, friend, colleague, human being. And at the end of the day, when we leave here, I'm not really interested in what you learned. But what will you do? Will you issue that apology to someone who deserves it? Will you be open to the ideas of others? Will you admit when you're wrong? And in the end, the answers to these questions are important because, and we understand, that it's not about thinking less of ourselves. It's about thinking more of others. Thank you.